OnlyFans?
Yeah, I've never heard of her either.
I don't know whether to feel...
Slightly aroused or...
You trigger me sometimes.
You trigger me every day.
Oh, discounting, I don't want to do that. And yeah, I agree. Discounting is from the devil, 100%. I'll sue you.
You should.
See you in court.
See you in court.
Lots of people think that email is dead and email marketing is dead. It's not. I've even had people use International Ginger Day as the reason why copy, which was... it did work. I'm not sure I'd recommend
Didn't
it.
someone use that on you?
There's a sinking feeling in your stomach when you look at the work schedule and you see a bunch of gaps for the week, or when a job gets moved and you're left with a hole. How will you keep the guys busy, and what will it cost you if you have people sitting around the workshop? Tune into today's podcast where we talk through a simple way to get jobs within minutes without having to spend a cent on marketing. Hi there, I'm your host, Tony Fraser-Jones, host of the Profitable Tradie podcast with my good buddy Phil Smith. How you doing, mate?
Fantastic. Always good.
What's the good news today?
Mate, the good news today. I'm here in the podcast studio with you.
That is, it's actually a lucky day.
Yeah, it is my lucky day. And, we'll be going live on our OnlyFans after... should we say that?
OnlyFans?
Yeah, I've never heard of her either.
What is it?
I don't know, man. You tell me. I saw it in your search history. Anyway, into the podcast.
That's harsh. That's spreading lies.
I never spread lies. And anyway, I usually put it in print and then it's libel.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll sue you.
You should.
See you in court.
See you in court.
Yeah, after the podcast. Let's do that
let's
first.
do the podcast.
What are we talking about today, mate?
Mate, well, research shows it's 4 to 5 times easier to sell to an existing client than it is to get a new client you've never done work for before. And that's because you already have a relationship with your existing clients. So in your business, and most trading and service businesses, there's a gold mine of jobs that you're just probably not tapping into. And that is your existing clients, or as it's often called, your client database. So there's one strategy that we find works amazingly well to get work from your database. And it's email marketing. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so lots of people think that email is dead and email marketing is dead. It's not. It's amazing. And we've tested this with hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of members. And if you want jobs quickly, you just hit your database with an email and you'll watch the jobs come in. It's that simple. Just a little disclaimer. It's not any type of email. You can't just send any old email. And we're going to dive exactly into what sort of email you need to send, because that does make a difference, and we'll get to that later in the podcast.
So I can't just say, hey, Tony, it's Phil. Can you buy my stuff, please? I need the money. Kind regards.
You could try that.
Yeah, you could.
We should test that.
You might actually, we laugh, but it actually might work.
Yeah, I've got a story.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Why don't you kick us off with a story?
This is a true story, and you might actually be right. So, a really early client that I had, when I started this business, guy called Jared, and they had a plastics molding company, and so they did things like fish tanks, seats for boats, bait boards, live bait tanks, anchor wells, plastic tanks, whole bunch of stuff, and they needed to do a price rise. And Jared was pretty concerned about doing that, didn't want to upset the clients. And so I helped him draft a newsletter telling the clients about the price rise, which he sent via email. And so he sent the email, kind of like hovering over it, sweat dripping off his brow, like, oh, am I going to destroy my business and all losing my clients? And I don't know if anyone else has felt like that when they're sending a price rise, but, toughen up. Anyway, push send, and... within about 90 minutes, he had 7 orders.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like insane.
Yeah.
And we're like looking at each other like, what just happened? And he got a bunch of other orders off sending this email about a price rise.
Yeah.
So this is not the type of email I suggest you send, and not the type of email we'll, talk about today. But if you want to do a price rise and send an email, that's fine. But the thing is here, there's so much power in actually communicating with your database.
Yeah.
Even before you send a special offer. And a bunch of the people that he sent that email to had just been meaning to make an order. They just never got around to it.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. They just
the
kind of
here.
They were busy and kind of just a bit hopeless.
Yeah.
And as soon as they had a prompt, they could just hit return and send an order in.
Well, I think that's the point, and the reason why this worked is, as you say, there would have been a bunch of people in that database that had actually been meaning to get in touch, that had been meaning to do something or take some action. But life gets in the way, people get busy, and so, they have great intentions to take action today, but said they just kind of wander through their day. They get home, they fart into their couch, and they go to bed. So, I mean, basically that's how it happens. So when you shake that tree and just have some form of contact, stuff comes out. And it might only be a small percentage of the database, but I'm sure you've got a reasonable amount of people, saved up in your job management software or your accounting software that you can send emails to. So, I mean, you'll shake the tree, something will come out. And if you write a good email, which is what we're going to talk about today, more stuff comes out. And that's the thing, is if you send anything, you actually might get some response. You send something really good, you'll get more response. And then you send things that are good more often, and you get lots of good response often, which is really the principle, right?
And sometimes you send them an email, you're doing them a favor because they've got a problem. They just, life's got in the way and they haven't solved it. So
that's it.
So I mean, that buzzed me out. I mean, just communicating via email made a difference.
Yeah, and so if we communicate well, we've got some opportunity. But firstly, if we don't do that, or we don't have a way to get quick jobs, we can run into problems, right?
Yeah, and this is important because sometimes you do have holes in your schedule. Maybe you've got a lot of project work and something gets shifted or moved, or you're just a bit light. And if you have no way of filling those gaps, you're just stuck.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can actually do to fill the gap, and you've just got to chew it. Basically, you got to eat it.
Well, you can sit by the phone and hope.
Yeah, that's not a strategy, right? Hope's not a strategy. You end up twiddling your thumbs, so you got your guys or your girls, your tradespeople, your technicians just sitting around, and that actually messes with your head.
Yeah.
Maybe you're thinking about hiring, and then you have a couple of quiet weeks, and you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to do that because, they might be sitting around being paid for nothing, and so you kind of just box on with what you've got.
Yep.
And you get roller coaster income as well. So you have some good weeks, maybe you have 3 good weeks in a month, and then you have a soft one, where it actually ends up soaking up all the profits of the month.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're kind of breaking even. So that's super frustrating.
Yeah, super frustrating. But I mean, if we do have a way to generate quick work, then pretty serious upsides.
Yeah, for sure. I look at it like you have some ammunition in your marketing arsenal, and maybe that's not a good metaphor, but it's you've got a trigger that you can pull for marketing.
Yeah, we can say a lever you can pull. If you're not trigger inclined, a lever you can pull.
You trigger me sometimes.
You trigger me every day. In a good way.
Is that right?
Yeah. Trigger me to get up and go.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do
thanks,
I?
Man.
You?
Yeah.
I? Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to feel,
slightly aroused or... Anyway, let's move on.
What
are the benefits?
Awkward. Yeah. We'll take this offline, shall we? You keep the team busy, so you can feel confident that you can keep the team busy.
Yeah.
You can generate work, and that's huge. That gives you good headspace for hiring decisions. You can keep consistent cash flow and profitability. You get rid of that sort of lumpy cash flow. And the cool thing is that email marketing is basically free, and it's super, super quick.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's really short response time for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to do. It's actually not hard to do. I think it can be quite daunting.
Especially if you haven't done it before.
Yeah, but it's actually not hard to do, especially if you got a bit of a formula or template you can work from or the like. So, I mean, should we talk about how we actually get this done?
Yeah. I thought I might just, I know some people listening are probably like, oh, yeah, whatever, is this some sort of spin or yarn that Phil and Tony are talking? Good at yarns. But I just want to read out a few posts we have on our members' Facebook page about how this actually works. And so here's one here from Oliver. Nice win after a shitty Friday. We're looking light next week, so I literally spent 45 minutes copying the PT email template into MailChimp, sent it to our database of 4,500 clients, offering with an offer if booked in for the first 9 people next week. Well, we've had 24 good leads through the booking form and another 10 email back asking to be booked. So 34 leads, and only 30% of the people so far opened the email. So I think this email has an ROI of between 10 to 40K depending on what work we get. So next week's looking full. Yeah. Simple as that.
Too easy.
Paul, I was a bit hesitant at first. I was skeptical in the response I might get. I sent 370 emails. I've got 10 jobs out of it in 4 hours. Better ROI than AdWords, Google Ads. So that's the sort of thing that we see consistently. You send the email, it's going to work because you'll get replies pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
So it's killer. It works, and I'd love to share, with everyone listening how to do this.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So really, it's just as simple as sending an email with an offer. That's the key. It has to have an offer, and how you write that offer makes a massive difference. But there are a couple of things I think we should kick around. So there's so much power in this.
Yeah.
So you can get the full juice from it. And the first thing is, I think you want to think about your database as like a hidden gold mine. Now, it's, as Phil said, it's way easier to sell to your existing clients. And even those people who maybe you haven't done work with yet, but they've inquired from you, you've got their details and stuff, they're further down the relationship path than complete newbies.
Well, they know who you are.
They know who you are, which is a good start, right?
Yeah, it's going to give you a big head start.
Yeah.
So might as well tap it.
So we want to tap that database, and then what we want to do is create a fan base.
Yeah.
And businesses, it's a numbers game. This is a numbers game. So, somewhere around maybe 3 to 6% of people are ready to buy now.
Yep.
They're the active buyers, and they're in a position to actually use the service that you have nowish. And they're ready to pull the trigger. They're ready to go now.
Yeah.
So that's really important. So if you think about, maybe you've got 100 people on your database. Let's just say you send an email and you get a 2% response rate. How many jobs is that, Phil?
2.
2. Nice. You're sharp, bro.
I'm pretty good with the maths.
And if there was 1,000 people on your database, 2% is how many?
20.
Nice. Sharp. 4,000 at 2% would be?
Well, 40. I wasn't listening.
80 with 80. That's right. Anyway, the point is, the bigger the database, the more jobs you're going to get. And so what I want everyone listening to do is to think about your business is about collecting people's information. You want to get your database, make that as big as possible, because when you hit go on your email marketing, you're going to have a huge runway. It makes a huge difference. And for a lot of you who are doing service or maintenance work, you have hundreds of thousands of people that you've worked with. And if you do more project work, don't stress about that. You've still got a list. We've had people send it to 200, 300, 400 and still get good wins. So you want to build a database and build that fan base. And if you can do some stuff, around nurturing them and maybe doing some emails to them, some newsletters to them, or getting them on your socials as well so they know you a bit better, this will work even better. But it'll work even if you don't spend a bunch of time on that stuff. So rather than thinking about, hey, I'm an electrician or a plumber or a glazier or a landscaper or drain layer, think about also being a list builder. That's the key thing. Making lists, so the bigger the list, the bigger the result. Particularly when people inquire, want to get all their details. Make sure you got that in your inquiry script so you can get the details and you can love those people, love them long time.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we want to be able to hit people again and again. And I think one big thing that's important here, when we think about, emailing out, I think there's sometimes a hesitation. Like people think, I'm going to send emails, and what if I'm bothering people? And what if they reply and they say bugger off or something like that, or remove me from the list? And I think the first thing I want to say about that is if you get someone who wants to be removed from your email list, awesome, because that's actually going to improve the health of your email and your deliverability. So that means that more people are likely to receive your emails when you remove the ones that don't want them. So it's a good thing. Secondly, though, I always think about old mate Grant Cardone, who
10x that, baby.
I don't love Grant Cardone, but he does have one principle that he talks about, which I think is quite important here. Where he talks about like being in obscurity and working your way to being top of mind. And I think with this, like the big thing he talks about is he says that when you're in obscurity, you start getting in touch with people and you might hit them once and they say, okay, that's interesting, but they might not get back to you. And you hit them again and again, and eventually they might actually get annoyed. And he said that's where most people are going to want to pull back and go, okay, well, I don't want to send any more emails because I've annoyed some people. He said that's actually where you got to put the foot down. You got to send more emails, because if you can push through that, you get from annoying to actually, I can't knock the guy's hustle. That's pretty, it's pretty respectable. I can see what he's doing here. He's not bad at what he does. And then if you keep pushing from there, you get to a point where it's like, wow, this person's actually really prolific. Like I really respect what they're doing. They're actually a great marketer, and now I really want to do some work with them. So I think the point is we're not talking so much about bombarding people today, but I just want to say if you have any hesitation around putting yourself out there and actually sending some emails because you might piss someone off, what you should do is just send more of them. Actually,
make sure you got an unsubscribe on your email as well, and they can hit that and they can go off and do their thing.
100%.
So build a big list. That's like gold. That's massive value in your business. I mean, if you ever want to sell your business and someone can see you've got 10,000 people on your customer database, they'll be like, wow, that's worth something. That's actually really super valuable. It'll add to the balance sheet items in your business. The next thing, and this is critical, the type of email you send is important. So we call that copy. A copy counts. That just has a massive effect. And I can't emphasize how important this is. And if you don't have the email set out in the right way, then it's not really going to work as well. And I know what we find is with our members, we'll give them the email templates and they'll maybe try and take a little bit from here and there and cobble it together. Wrong. Just follow the process and just do what we say. And then if that doesn't work, you can say, Tony, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fine. I'm happy with that, but you just stick to the process.
Yeah.
So there's 6 parts to this email. I want to blast through these because these are absolutely critical. And so the first part is super simple. It's the subject line. So the subject line is like the ad for your email. So with the subject line, you want to arouse curiosity. You want to promise some sort of benefit so people actually open this sucker. Because there's a lot of emails in people's inboxes. We want to make sure it gets open. So something like VIP offer, free $100 gift off any plumbing work, limit to 7. That works amazingly. Incidentally, we've found free $100 gift off or free $50 gift off works basically the same.
Yeah.
Funny but true. Another one might be one-time offer, Gas Infinity system and installation, save $600. So it's arouses some curiosity or promises a benefit that kind of is like people just want to open the email. So that's important. It's kind of like the headline in a social media clickbait. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Next thing, so that's number 1. Number 2, you want to personalize the email. So you want to use their first name wherever possible. That has a dramatic increase. So rather than hi Phil, or hi Tony, or hi Amy, or hi Nephi, that will make a huge difference. And then you put your name as well. Hey, Tony from ABC Electrical Contracting Limited. So personalize it. Then you want reason why copy. And this is massive. So everyone smells a rat. And we know, that their sales go on all the time and they're really just sales to, for the sake of it. So we want really powerful reason why copy so people can see that there's a genuine reason for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so here's a great example of how this might work. You could say something along the lines of, look, it's heading towards the weekend. We've had a big house job put on hold until next week, which means a couple of our tradespeople will be knocking around the workshop for the next couple of days. That's a great reason why to do a special offer.
Yeah.
We don't want them knocking around the workshop. We would rather they're out doing something useful. So here's $50 off the first 7 people to respond to the email.
Yeah.
So that reason why copy is super powerful. Another one might be, hey, our suppliers just contacted us with a one-time offer that we just had to share with you.
Yeah.
So that's good reason why copy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the whole kind of centerpiece of it is the actual offer. So we want the offer to be really powerful so that it's a no-brainer. And an example here is, hey, we'll give you $100 off any job you book this week. For the first 7 people, no strings attached. If your job comes to $150, you'll pay $50. And you might be going, oh, discounting, I don't want to do that. And yeah, I agree, discounting is from the devil, 100%. But what you can also do in this offer is then offer a free plumbing or electrical safety inspection, valued at $79, and that's where you do the upselling. So you get out in the field and you look at anything else you can help them with, and you can make hundreds, possibly thousands of other dollars off the job by actually getting out there. So you give a little to gain a lot. So the offer is incredibly important. So next thing is the call to action. So that's just telling the people what to do in the email, how to book. So if you're looking to upgrade your hot water system to a Gas Infinity, or you're constantly running out of water, this is the deal for you. And it's like, call Tony to book and make sure you mention this email to get your VIP discount. Or click reply to secure one of your XYZ deals. And you tell them exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So the call to action, what you want them to do to book the deal.
Well, if you don't tell them what to do, then they get to the end and they go, wow, that was really interesting. Maybe I'll make contact one day. And then they carry on living their life and they go home and they fart into their couch and off we go.
And here's, you may have heard this or you may have missed it. There has to be some scarcity and urgency in this offer. So there has to be a time limit or a limit to the number of deals that can go out. Without that, people will not take action today. I've tried this, tested it hundreds of times. I know this works. So you must put a limit or a time limit and make it very short and make it small.
And make it real as well. I think this is a big thing. Make it real. If you don't actually follow through on the scarcity and urgency that you talk about, then, we talk about people smelling a rat. If you send another email another day and people have figured out that you were full of it, well, then that doesn't work the next time. So, you stick to it. If you say this offer, is till close of business Friday, well, then on close of business Friday, it's finished. Someone emails on Saturday, that's cool. They don't get the offer. They can still book a job, but they can't capitalize on the offer.
And that gets into something that I'm really interested in talking about is understanding pent-up demand. Because if you leave some demand unsatisfied, it's going to be fantastic for marketing in the future.
Yeah, that's right.
Something else cool that you can do here is if you do, when you do your email, is then send another email and say, hey, thanks to, and list the 7 people who got the deal. Really appreciate you guys. Sorry we couldn't help everyone. but we'll have, hopefully have some other stuff come around soon.
Yeah, and that's going to give that pre-framing that people can be looking forward to the next one. They don't want to miss out next time, and they see that it was for real, and you weren't just saying it.
100%.
So
yeah,
it makes it a lot more compelling in the future too.
Yeah, and it's real, and it creates that pent up demand, which is the key to ongoing marketing.
100%.
And as I mentioned, like the upselling process, you need that. That sits in behind this because that's where you can do other work when you're out on the job. You can find other issues because. We've talked about this before on another podcast, is it's excellent salesmanship or salespersonship to actually go through the upselling process, because often there's other stuff you can help people with, they haven't even remembered.
Yeah, and this helps you really capitalize and boost up the GP on that job, because if you've done some kind of offer with some kind of discount or something like that, then, hey, your GP might not have been as strong. So, hey, look for other stuff you can do and make the most of being there.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's the real thing. Let's say you're running Google Ads. If you're getting a Google ad, if you're getting jobs for $50 off Google Ads, you're doing well.
Yeah.
This is cheaper, way cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's to your existing client base, so it's a win.
Yeah.
It's cheap marketing.
Yeah, and your GP may have been a little bit lower because you got $50 off the job, but again, if it was going to cost you $100, $200, $300 to win that same job from your Google Ads, then, as you say, it's cheaper, it's better.
Yep. And now, you might be listening and thinking, well, that's really easy if you do lots of service work. You're a plumber or an electrician or something similar. But I've seen all sorts of businesses do this. People have done deals on extractor fans. I've had landscapers do deals on planter boxes.
Yep.
Or give $500 off, some garden maintenance work.
Yeah.
Or a special deal from a supplier. There's all sorts of. I've even had people use International Ginger Day as the reason why copy, which was, it did work. I'm not sure I'd recommend
Didn't someone use that on you?
Not a ginger. A little ginger hue in the beard along with
flecks
of grey.
Your beard speaks a different story, man.
Does it?
Yeah.
Do you like the little bits of grey? I think they're pretty fetching.
Oh, they're distinguished.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You should show me some respect.
Put respect on my name.
Respect my grey hair, mate.
All right.
Anyway, and the cool thing about this is email, but you could use this in your social media as well. So you can put the same offer on Facebook, Insta.
In fact, I recommend that you do, because you put it in more places. It's like going out fishing and you get more lines in the water, right? Like you're more likely to catch something.
You are, but the email is the place you'll get the most direct response.
Yeah, totally.
Which is amazing. Now, there's a bit of tech around this. Don't freak out about this. There are email marketing systems that are really easy and cheap to set up. MailChimp is one great example. You can just get a CSV file, which is like an Excel spreadsheet of a list of your clients and their email addresses and their names, and bung that into MailChimp, and away you go. Bob's your mother's brother. It's all done. It's happy days. You send the email. It'll take care of all the unsubscribes and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And if you haven't got the database together, you can download it from your job management system or your accounting software, or you could get a student or someone from Fiverr or Upwork to actually just pull that list together for you. So
pretty straightforward.
This is super juicy, super simple, and incredibly powerful. It's going to smooth out those lumpy areas of income, and it's going to make you feel really confident because you've got something that you can do if you're short.
Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah, and it's easy. So get amongst it.
And yes, we should
All right. Well,
get amongst it.
Let's land this plane.
Alrighty, so if you're short of work and you need jobs quick, just send an email. Better yet, really invest in building your client database and communicating with them regularly. Do a great job, and you'll never have to worry about gaps in your work schedule again. Thanks heaps for listening. We'll catch you all again next time.
See you later.
Hey, I hope you liked the video. Check out all the other videos in the channel and like and subscribe.